Alright, what's up guys? Back here with another video. Let's get into it. Why you're killing her attraction. I think this is a funny one, but it's very true. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button. Just hit it. Like and subscribe so you can see more content like this. But let's get right into it. As of lately, it's a new year, but guys are always going through issues, and usually it's the same issues. And a lot of the times throughout a relationship, men don't really understand relationship dynamics, and men usually follow what they think is right. I think a big part of this is we've been conditioned to think that if a woman is upset, if a woman's mad, we have to do something to fix it. And usually what fixing it looks like is pandering, chasing, and just making sure that her priorities and everything that she wants comes first. And it's actually completely the opposite, right? And a lot of the times in relationships, guys kill the attraction because they love a woman so much. And a lot of the times when guys don't have this level of awareness, or men haven't been hurt before, or sometimes men take a long time to adjust to these type of things. They usually go through these kind of problems, right? And the person that you see that usually goes through this kind of problem is a man that is super relationship focused. And being super relationship focused a lot of the times can be very counterproductive. And a man that is super relationship focused starts to prioritize his woman more than he prioritizes himself. Now, this goes back to a fundamental thing that I've talked about. If you've been listening to the podcast, make sure you hit the link below in the bio and listen to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast. But one of the fundamental things that I used to tell guys is you can't put a woman first. Now, I know you may have heard it in mainstream media. You may have heard it in, or in a song that, you got to put that woman first. But it's actually quite the opposite. You have to put yourself first. And even before that, you put God first, right? This has always been my philosophy. It's God, yourself, your purpose, and then her, right? Obviously, when you have a family, things change just a little bit. But regardless of anything, your wife, your family, your kids, you have to come first. Now, that may sound crazy to some people, but when we break it down, it doesn't. Why? Because you have to make sure that you're physically capable. You have to make sure you're mentally capable. You have to make sure that you prioritize yourself and your health and your wealth, so this way you can go out and provide. You can go out and sustain. You can go out and protect. You can go out and defend not only yourself but your family. If you don't make it home at night and your family's been relying on you to take care of them, what's going to happen? If you cease to exist, what's going to happen when your family has been relying on you? No, so you have to prioritize yourself first. Very much so. You can't take care of your family. You can't have a job. You can't, can't make money. You can't run a business if you are not there 100%. If you're distorted in any type of way, if you're not there mentally, if you're an athlete and you can't perform the right way you're supposed to perform, and you're fucking up on the job, you could lose your contract. You could stop getting big fights. You could be, delegated to a team overseas, depending on what your profession is. If you run a business, you have to do these things. You have to prioritize yourself first, or else you can't take care of anyone else. But one of the mistakes that a lot of men make is they become super relationship focused. And not on top of that, they let their anxiety get the best of them. They become very anxious. They become super, super like nervous and overzealous about the relationship. And what they start to do is they start to prioritize this woman over themselves, right? You could be at work and next thing you know, you're thinking about your woman because she was upset today, or, you're so in love with her that you can't wait to get home and just make some love or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with making love, and there's nothing wrong with having nice gestures. But when you start to prioritize her over yourself, meaning I'm not going to go to the gym today because my girl wants to hang out with me. I'm going to skip the gym today because, my girl is so in love with me that she wants to see me, and I'm going to do that. You can't allow her needs, or not necessarily needs, because it's not necessarily something she always needs, but you can't allow her wants. That's what we want to say. You can't allow what she wants and what she needs to, allow you to be deluded or distracted, right? And a lot of men make this mistake, wanting to hang out with their women all the time, every time. Now, understand, if you guys live together, that's one thing. Then taking healthy space isn't necessary. And if you guys live together and you know you're going to see her, there's no way why you're skipping the gym. There's no way you're letting this laziness overcome you, right? You have to prioritize your goals. You have to prioritize your purpose. And don't allow her to distract you from that. Understand, and she has to understand that this has to come second, especially if you're making a really good income. And you're providing the type of lifestyle that you guys are sustaining off of your back. Then you understand, and she has to understand that, listen, what you want has to come second to this, because if I don't get myself together, if I don't get myself in shape, if I don't prepare or execute properly on my job and business how I'm supposed to, we won't have any of this. And a lot of the times, some men are in their relationships and dynamics are so set up that if this man didn't have that success, she wouldn't be with him. Which is even more of a reason why you need to prioritize yourself. And a lot of the times men get to panicking and, tell me that you love me. Tell me that you'll never leave me. You're coming from a feminine frame, right? And when you being feminine, you only allow her to be the complete opposite. It can only be matched for so long. You can only be so feminine for so long, You're going against that yin and yang. Well, you're never really going against it, but at some point it's going to shift. She'll be the positive and you'll be the negative. I'm not saying that you're being a negative person, but we're talking about being polar opposites of masculine and feminine, right? And, a lot of men express their feelings too much. If you're a man and you're always talking about your feelings, always expressing your feelings. Now, there's nothing wrong with talking about your day. There's nothing wrong with every once in a while telling her that something you're doing is annoying and you don't like it and you would like for her to stop. But if you're always expressing your feelings and saying, I love you, do you love me? That's okay every once in a while. But if you're doing it consistently, if you're doing it all the time, you're coming from a feminine frame and you're not allowing, you both can't be feminine at the same time. Right? If you're chasing too hard, whether this is a relationship or at the very beginning of a relationship, it will turn a woman off. And you're not allowing her to be in that feminine state if you're being in that feminine state. There's a fine line between doing nice things and doing good things and taking care of your responsibilities versus, I'm going to always be there for you. I'm giving her all this certainty, and you being the anxious one. Now, another thing that kills a woman's attraction is when men are being too responsive. Being very responsive is another thing that can turn a woman off just completely. Being extremely responsive will kill attraction like no other. Now, to even support this, there was a study published in the Personality of Social Psychology. The bulletin found out, the Social Psychology Bulletin, they found out that men who were too responsive, meaning men who call too much, men who text too much, men who respond to texts super fast, not saying that you can't have a good back and forth every once in a while, but if it's all the time you respond super fast, it's a guarantee thing. There's no excitement there, right? She feels as if, and she knows as if she got you in a bag. There's no mystery. There's nothing for her to worry about. Men that are too available, there's no scarcity on your time. That she's always going to see you when she wants. You're always there. Men that give their love away too easily. Women that don't have to work for nothing. They say, oh, I know he's going to love me. If they don't have to work for it a little bit, right? If they don't have to say, well, damn, I know he has a lot of girls. I know he's probably, talking to a lot of girls. I know a lot of women probably want him. If she doesn't have to work for it, these are the type of things that make you less attractive. Men that don't present a challenge. All of these things are things that will make you less attractive as a man. And these are the type of things that when it comes to being less responsive and and just not being necessarily so easy. These are the things that will, you know, allow you to not kill the attraction. And then usually when you kill attraction, you see the woman starting to pulling away. You see her starting to go away. You see her starting to not wanting to be as available for you. And then when she pulls away, what do most men do? Most men start to panic. They start begging, they start pleading, they start saying they'll change, they'll fix any little thing that she wants, but it's not necessarily that she wants anything. Sometimes some women are just going to test you. That's going to happen at some point. A woman's going to pull away, and how you react to that situations is going to usually be the determining factor for your relationship for a while, right? And that's usually how that's going to go. But you shouldn't do that. When a woman pulls away like that, and you're tested like that, or you did something that made her upset, and she pulls away, let her pull away. Give her space. You shoot her a text. You say, hey, you okay? She doesn't want to respond. That's fine. Okay, well, text me when you're ready to talk. Text me when you're free. I'll leave you alone for now. Don't get over emotional. Don't start panicking. Don't start begging. Then don't get on your knees and start crying. There's no reason for you to act like a little bitch. You sit there and you talk. And you give her some time and you give her some space. And when she's ready to talk, you talk. You don't need to be overzealous, right? So how do you change these things? You have to become less relationship focused. And what does that look like? That looks like when you're focused on your life. When you start to focus on your goals, when you set certain goals and you start to work towards them, when you start to achieve them, right? When you start focusing on your health, when you start focusing on your fitness, right? When you start to say, hey, I'm not going to cancel the gym. I'm going to stay consistent in the gym. Whether you're going 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, you say, hey, you know what? I have to go to the gym today. But babe, please just cuddle with me another hour. No, right? And then next thing you know, you guys end up having sex and you get tired, you know, busted a nut and it took your energy away. Now you missed another day in the gym and you're allowing her to control the narrative. Listen, she'll be there when you get back. If it's not, it'll be there tomorrow or a few days or next week. Have some self-control, have some discipline, and don't allow yourself to be controlled, because you not focusing on yourself, you're not focusing on your money, you're not focusing on certain goals that you have set for yourself. These are the very things that are holding you back, right? And instead of putting all your attention on her, what you need to do is put your attention on yourself, right? And, you know, there's studies that have shown that women are more attracted to these kind of men anyway. And women are attracted to the type of man who is prioritizing and is goal-oriented, right? There are real studies on these type of cases. So when it comes to being relationship focused and panicking and overzealous and super emotional, I'm not saying that you can never express yourself, but when you're overdoing it. If you are matching her energy as far as when it comes to being emotional, you know there's a problem. If she's less emotional than you, you know that there's a problem. But anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to Patreon for more content, more exclusive content and details like this. And if you guys are having a problem with your relationship, you can always reach out. You can text the number on the screen and talk to my assistant, and we can book a consultation for you and see if we can help you out in your situation. Anyway, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and we will be back with more.